Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of a story from about 14 years ago. I did this customer. I did it for about 6 months. And which is when I first started window cleaning. So I picked up this customer. What I was doing was, I was doing this. And I was doing this. Okay? And I watched these other window cleaners work over time. And I'm thinking, how do they get this to work? Because every time I'm doing it, I get lines. Every single time. I did this lady, I was charging her £5 for her bungalow. And I did it for a long time. Then it was the very first few days of me trying to become a window cleaner that could do what everybody else could do, seemed to be doing, but I couldn't do it because all I was getting was mistakes and lines, and I was busy buffing it all out. But I get a phone call 2 days later. I was driving home from a job at a weekend, last job of the weekend, driving back, and she rings me up and she says, "Don't come back, you've left all lines all over my glass." The sun was setting in the afternoon, it's like coming up to winter time, and I was devastated. I was so I was embarrassed, but I was devastated because for the first time I tried to be working similar to these other window cleaners that seem to be able to do the fanning manoeuvre, and I try and better myself and I fail. And I'm thinking, I've lost one customer, I'm just waiting for a barrage of all the other customers that I've tried that technique and got all these lines on all the other people's windows. Thankfully, she was the only woman to call me up and complain. But that put something in the back of my mind thinking, boy, don't even try to become better at my job. Just stick to the straight pulls, because it obviously don't work. Is it the rubber? Is it the channel? Is it the handle? Is it me? Is it the water? Is it the vinegar? Is it the soap? Am I putting too much soap in? Am I putting too little soap in? No, I had no idea. No answers. Nobody was around to help me. There was no YouTube. I didn't know anything about YouTube, so I just struggled for a long time until I met someone who could put me on a better track, and then I excelled. And then I came to YouTube because I got so good at what I did with the conventional tools. I had a few ideas in my head from looking at other products that I was using. I'm thinking, well, this does well in this sort of scenario, but it still could do better. This pole tool works all right, but it could be better. It could close out better. This sawbow tool it works all right, but it could work better. So all the tools that I had, I learned from, but I couldn't take it any further. I started self-modifying, and I came to YouTube, and then for the sole purpose of trying to get a company to take on board a new idea of reinventing the squeegee. And thankfully, that was the best thing for me to ever happen, because now I've got a tool that allows me to clean windows quicker and better than other window cleaners. Oh shit, I'm being egotistical. I'm being toxic. Well, if that's what you think, sorry, I offend you. I've got nothing to be ashamed of, because I tell you exactly what you need to know to get on the right track. And if you don't want to listen, if you don't agree, that's not my fault. I wish I had someone to tell me 14, 15 years ago that this is a better way of working. Do this, A, B, C, D, instead of doing your A, B, C, D, and you tell me what will work better. So, I'm going to go back to that woman in a minute, but I'm going to move over to the first person to ever try this liquidator. I was over in Belgium. This was before it came on sale, because it was still in the prototype stage. And the first person, other than me, to use this tool, he used it and he had no idea what to do with it. It was awful to watch. He could use this, and I suppose he could use one of these, and he could use other tools, but he couldn't use this. And I'm thinking, wow, that's an eye opener. if he can't use it, and he don't work anything different to the majority of other window cleaners, maybe we're in for a bit of trouble, Moorman. And it didn't help that Moorman didn't dot all the I's and cross all the T's when bringing out the liquidator in the first place. It was just a nightmare. So my channel changed from showing how to make tools work better to now we've got a tool that works better that you can buy from the shop, but you need to focus now on yourself. And my videos are not about how good I am at cleaning windows. It's not about me at all. It's about you, how you can clean windows, either using this tool or using any other tool. But if you use this tool, which is like a Formula 1 tool, and you learn how to use it, you're going to get much more results in a quicker time, making more money. Now, if I was to go into a Formula 1 car and start using it every day, let's say I've won millions of pounds and I'm now driving around in a Formula 1 car. I haven't got the expertise, I haven't got the know-how to use it, but I'm just going to jump in and start using it. Am I going to be able to use it? No. Unless I change and get taught by someone who knows how to use this tool, I mean, I could learn the basics. I'm not going to get very far with it unless someone shows me who's an expert in how to use it, and then I can use it. Because I'm just going to drive it very similar to how I'm driving my van. I ain't got the skills, I ain't got the know-how, and it's very much similar to this tool here. So I've read a few comments. Someone probably directed me and showed me that people think I'm toxic. What else? Knob is a knob. Well, you know, when you say the truth and it goes against the grain, so people like being in a rut. They're comfortable in the way that they do things. They're comfortable in the way they eat, the way they drive their vehicle, the way they clean the windows. It's perfect. It works perfect because they're stuck in a rut. That's why they're comfortable. And when you suggest, well, you're making a mistake here and you're making a mistake there, and you're cutting corners here and you're cutting corners there in the way that you work or drive or whatever you're doing, and someone starts pointing things out, you know, you're going to upset the apple cart. And then maybe people will start thinking, well, you're egotistical, you're causing problems within the industry, blah, blah, blah. But I wish I had someone who could point me in the right direction when I was an absolute bottom of the barrel window cleaner, but there wasn't. But I remember how I felt when I was working. I got that phone call from that woman saying, don't come back, you made a mess of the windows. And all I was trying to do was become better at my job. And I failed. I failed at many things. I've won a few things, but I've pretty much on my failure at most things. So I know what it's like being a failure. And I don't want really, I'm not being vindictive by saying the way that I do things is better. If you don't want to work like that, that's up to you. But when there's other window cleaners on YouTube saying, well, we use this tool, we use this technique, we do this, we do that, and then we change it around and we do this and we do that, but every single time they change things around, the same results are always left. They're working longer, harder, slower, and getting less results. So when I take a video of this other guy working, is that to make me look good and him to look bad? No, it's to show you that's just a typical window cleaner that I saw by chance walking out of my house. He's right in front of me. I've got my phone, I'm emptying out my van. Let's just take a picture of him working, and he's working longer, harder, slower, getting less results. Using one size tool fits all and working one-handed and struggling. Like I was struggling 14, 15 years ago. I've tried to show him how to work better. I've tried to get him to use this tool. He's not interested. So when people say, I've tried to show this window cleaner and he has he's got no interest. Oh, leave him. Nobody needs to show anybody anything. The only person who needs to show something is the person who was responsible for getting this tool to market. And that wasn't any other YouTuber other than me. Does that make me a better person? No, it doesn't. It makes me responsible for anybody who went out and buy this bloody tool. I mean, it works perfectly for me because I adapted a way of working that works next level. But, you you know, I'm toxic because I point things out, I point the obvious things out. And I've got no interest in being on YouTube. And I've said that many, many times. I'm still making videos because I'm still getting people say to me, I tried it and I'm still not getting it. My end clip's broken. I tried to fix this and now it's gone even worse. Well, you know, obviously I've still got some sort of role to do to show the best way of using his tools. And if that means pointing out this guy can't clean windows very effectively, he did a better job, by the way, than most YouTube window cleaners. Why? Because most YouTube window cleaners are much better with their skills, with their squeegee, but they don't do the detailing. We could all see that guy was doing the detailing. He was trying to get a good job done. Just the way that he was doing it resulted in him getting work done longer, harder, slower. But he was trying to get high results. Other window cleaners on YouTube, better with the squeegee. They work a bit quicker, a bit more fluent with their squeegee technique, much better than I was working with when I was trying to get the fanning manoeuvre. The first few days of working like this, and I started losing customers. Thankfully, I only got one customer call me. I must have done 10 or 20 jobs, just wanting to better myself, and I failed. I thought I was going to get 20 customers say, don't come back. I felt like utter shit. I felt shit. Anyway, going back to that woman, I saw the woman the other day, working in the street, very close to her. She said, my window cleaner stopped coming, can you do the windows? Every time I see this woman, she reminds me of me being at the bottom of you know, the lowest of the low. It was a good learning curve, but you know, I never said, oh, do you remember me? You sacked me because you said I was leaving loads of lines, and I did leave loads of lines. I thought I buffed them all out with the cloth, but obviously it wasn't good enough. So I was charging £5 for 13, 14, 15 years ago. She asked me to do it, but she just wanted half the job done, just the front and the side. So I said, I'll do it for a tenner. She said, yeah, that's great. So I charged a £5. I did the whole job. It took me 45 minutes, and I did half the job, charged her a tenner, and I was there for about 10 minutes. So yeah, things go around in cycles. But that was a big learning curve, and I thought I'd better put that out there. But am I being vindictive by pointing out the obvious? Well, I wish someone was saying that to me 13, 14 years ago, because I'd be way on the right track many, many years ago. Now, there's no right or wrong way of working. I've always said that. I like to try and be as fair as possible, but I can't be any fairer than saying, you work like this way, you use this tool, and you won't work so long and as hard and as slow and get better results, as long as you tick all your boxes, do the right things to make this Formula 1 vehicle tool work for you. Does that make me egotistical? Does that make me profit from you? Are you paying me the money? No, I'm giving everything away for free. I don't even monetize my YouTube channel. I don't make any money on the sales. You've gone out your way to buy this tool. You've seen me watch it and a few other window cleaners use it. And because I'm responsible for that coming to the market, I have to show what I know. And it's just black and white, yes or no. And if you don't like it, it's not my fault, is it? Because most window cleaners love the rut. They love being stuck in the rut. Because most people in life are stuck in a rut because it's comfortable. People don't like other people upsetting the apple cart. Right, let's just move on to a separate thing. I've been working on this school, and the windows generally aren't in that bad condition from me cleaning them last year. There's only one problem: bug marks. Right, so they're a bit weathered, but they ain't too bad. And this is by like a wooded area, but I never really thought that these washers with the bristles particularly good at taking off. Well, they don't take off these insect bug marks. So you can buy these pads where you can rub the window, but I don't use that because I don't work like other window cleaners. I just use these things here I've got on my knuckles here. And so there's no point rubbing it until the window's wet, right? So it's got to be wet, so at least, you know, there's some baked on, right? So when I start squeezing, well, first of all, if I can see them, I'll start rubbing them down. So let's say there's four problems here. So there. And then I start, because I'm looking for tooling technique, right? It's still there, so here we go. Now it's gone. There's a bit there. So I'm using my washer and my separate scrubbers. There's a problem here, there's a problem here. But I'm not putting my tools down. I'm not making minimum manoeuvres because I'm never going to get the results out of that because of these bug marks. But I'm not putting my tools down. I'm not changing tools over. Let's just say this is a new window. I've got 6 bug marks. Right, that one's come off. That one hasn't. This one, these 3 haven't. But the other 3 come off. So I can squeegee here. That one hasn't come off. That's gone. Cool, I'm working much slower than I would like to work, but I haven't got any choice. I'm still working tooling technique. I'm not putting my tools away, I'm not changing tools over. I'm being precise. There's a lot of pressure there. Some people might say you're going to scratch the windows. Well, I haven't scratched normal windows. I have scratched tinted windows with the plastic tint, and I learned from mistakes. I learned, well, I can't scrub tinted windows, so I ain't going to do that anymore. And even when I tried to really rub hard with my washer, I still, not the that end, just this end, I still scratched the windows because it had a film on it. So some windows are just, you can't scrub them because they've got that tint on them. Anyway, I don't think I'm toxic. I like to put people in the right direction, and I've no benefit making these videos. I'm not obnoxious. Anyone who knows me personally knows I'm quite a humble person. I don't boast about anything. I never in my videos talk about my window cleaning business, and I never talk about how much money I've earned or can earn. It's just about working smarter, quicker, that's it. And just do it this way, or you can do it that way. It's up to you. If you don't like what I say, then don't watch. And you know, if I get like 3 or 4 people who say, just piss off, Bob, that would be the best thing I've heard in a very long time, because I would just go, disappear, and just keep myself to myself. I've done enough over the last, what, 8 years, showing other people how to work differently, reinventing the way that there is to clean windows. And yeah, most window cleaners on YouTube will be delighted that I've gone, and I would just go. I'll just go. That would be such a burden lifted from me being on YouTube. Just go. I'll be so happy. But there are still people who keep asking me questions. So I'll do the right thing and try and answer it. But that's not me being toxic.